Her exact words were, "You'd only embarrass me in front of my wealthy friends." I stayed quiet, but in that silence I made a decision she never saw coming. A few days later, she was dressed to the nines, laughing with her new circle at the country club she'd been bragging about for weeks. Glass of champagne in hand, she looked like she belonged there until her smile vanished. Because I walked in, not as her +1, but as the co-owner. The man shaking hands with the very people she was desperate to impress. I'm 32, male, and I need to get this story off my chest while it's still raw. My ex-fiancée, Ophelia Marsh, 29, just learned an expensive lesson about arrogance and assumptions. We'd been together 3 years, engaged for 6 months. I make my living as a diesel mechanic, solid, honest work that pays the bills and then some. But apparently, it wasn't glamorous enough for Ophelia's new world. She's in pharmaceutical sales, earns decent money, and recently wormed her way into a private country club thanks to her boss' sponsorship. The buy-in was outrageous, the monthly dues even worse. Things started shifting 2 months ago when she got accepted. Suddenly, her weekends were all about club socials, tennis matches, luncheons, wine tastings. Fine, I'm not one for that lifestyle anyway. I'd rather spend my time working on my '67 Camaro or heading out to fish. But then came the night that flipped everything upside down. Last Tuesday, as she was dressing up for yet another gala, I asked casually, "So, when do I finally meet these new friends of yours?" She froze mid-makeup, gave me that sharp look. "Ophelia, Lucian, we need to be real about this." "Me, about what?" "Ophelia, these people are different. They talk about art portfolios and foreign investments, not engines and fishing spots. You wouldn't fit in. Honestly." She hesitated, choosing the cruelest words she could wrap in silk. "Ophelia, you'd embarrass me. Your job, your hobbies, the way you carry yourself, it's too working class for their circle." I stared at her. 3 years together, living in the house I owned, yes, mine, passed down from my grandmother, mortgage-free. She wore the ring I paid for with my sweat. And still, I was embarrassing. All right. Got it. Ophelia, don't twist it. I just don't want you to feel uncomfortable. No. I get it perfectly. She left for her big night, but I made a phone call I'd been avoiding for years. Erase the piece she never knew, that very club she idolized. My father started it from scratch. What began as a small golf course in the late '80s had grown into the sprawling estate she now bragged about. When he passed 5 years ago, ownership went to me and my sister, Sabine Drake. I never told Ophelia. To me, the place carried baggage. My dad thought I was throwing away my life turning wrenches instead of wearing tailored suits. We barely spoke his last decade. Sabine runs the business, I stay in the background, sign a few papers once a year, collect checks I usually donate to a local trade school. But after Ophelia's words, I dialed Sabine. Sabine, I need to show up at the club this Saturday." "Sabine, you're joking. You haven't stepped foot there since Dad's funeral." Well, things change. There's a fundraiser this weekend, right? The Children's Hospital one." "Sabine, why? Don't tell me this is about that woman you're seeing, the new member?" She knew exactly who Ophelia was. I need to be seen. As myself." Sabine chuckled, almost gleeful. "Sabine, oh, this will be interesting. Want me to prep the staff for your grand entrance?" Yes. The full treatment." Saturday finally came. Ophelia left the house early, eager to help set up for the big charity auction. I waited until the event was in full swing, then pulled up in my old 03 F-250, the same truck she always complained was an eyesore in the driveway. Stepping through those doors felt surreal. The staff noticed me immediately. Sabine had clearly prepared them. The valet nearly sprinted to grab my keys. And then the general manager, Dominic Kerr, a man who had worked under my father for 2 decades, almost cracked his professional mask when he saw me. Dominic, Mr. Drake, what an unexpected honor. Your sister mentioned you might be joining us. Me, Dominic, good to see you. The place looks fantastic. Dominic, shall I escort you to the Lafayette Ballroom? Me, I know the way. Thank you, though. The ballroom was buzzing, 200 guests dressed in their finest. And there she was, Ophelia. Standing at the bar, laughing too loudly with a cluster of women, clearly enjoying her new role in this world. I immediately recognized her boss, Teresa Caldwell, and a few board members' wives. But before I could even move toward them, a voice thundered across the room. Lucian Drake? Is that really you? It was Alastair Horn, my father's closest friend, now board president, and practically an uncle to me. He stormed over, swept me into a bear hug so sudden it probably shocked half the ballroom. Alastair, Sabine said you might actually show your face. About time. Ladies and gentlemen, Lucian Drake is here. The room shifted instantly. Conversations froze, whispers spread. And hey race, where you should lean in, because this is the moment everything cracked wide open. The Drake name meant something here, and suddenly everyone remembered. Alastair didn't give me a chance to stand still. He paraded me around, reintroducing me to board members, longtime families, people who remembered me as a kid tearing through the golf course in grass-stained jeans. Every introduction was the same. Bob, you remember Edward's boy, Lucian? He's the one who owns the place now. And that's when I saw her. Ophelia. Her face drained of color, champagne glass suspended midair. Her boss was saying something to her, but she wasn't hearing a word. She was locked on me. I walked over, Alastair still beside me. Me, Teresa, good to see you again. Teresa, Lucian? I had no idea you were. Wait. You two know each other? Ophelia's lips finally moved. Ophelia, this is my fiancé. The silence was deafening. Teresa's eyes widened, the women around her exchanged quick glances, trying to process it. And Alastair, bless him, only poured gasoline on the fire. Alastair, fiancé? Lucian, you didn't tell us. And to one of our newest members? Ophelia, you're a lucky woman. The Drakes practically built this place. Ophelia stammered, then bolted for the terrace, nearly spilling her glass. I didn't chase after her. Instead, I stayed. I laughed. I bid $18,000 on a Lake Tahoe package for the Children's Hospital, and I had conversations with the very people she thought were too refined for me. Turns out, wealthy folks love talking cars, boats, and engines when someone actually knows what they're doing. Meanwhile, my phone buzzed non-stop. Ophelia, we need to talk. Now. This isn't funny. You lied to me. Lucian, stop ignoring me. I ignored every single message. I was busy listening to Teresa admit, embarrassed, how Ophelia had introduced me to everyone as working in transportation and had been pushing hard for introductions to the powerful families. Teresa, she said you weren't comfortable in social settings. Lucian, did she ever tell you that? I feel awful. If I'd known she was treating Edward's son this way. Me, not your fault. People always reveal themselves sooner or later. I left the auction around 10 p.m. Ophelia's car was gone, but she was waiting at my house, pacing the living room. Ophelia, 3 years. You hid this for 3 years. Me, I didn't hide anything. You never asked. Ophelia, you deliberately made me think you were just some mechanic. Me, I am a mechanic. I fix diesel engines. That's my job. Ophelia, you own a country club. Me, I inherited a quarter of a country club. Sabine owns another quarter and the trust owns the rest. I don't run it. I don't work there. I barely acknowledge it exists. Ophelia, do you have any idea how humiliated I am? I've been telling everyone my fiancé couldn't possibly fit in, and you're literally their landlord. Me, you're humiliated? You told me I was too embarrassing to be seen with. You said I'd embarrass you. Ophelia, that was before I knew. Me, and that's the problem, Ophelia. She tried everything. Tears, apologies, accusations. Claimed I tested her and she failed. That it wasn't fair. That I should have told her. Maybe she had a point about the testing, but I didn't set out to test anyone. I just wanted to be loved for who I am, not what I inherited. Me, you know what the real kicker is? If you had just introduced me as your mechanic fiancé, nobody would have cared. Alistair knew what I did for a living. Dominic knew. They respect honest work. The only person who thought I was embarrassing was you. Ophelia, I was trying to protect us both. Me, no, you were trying to protect your image. There's a difference. She moved to the couch, trying a different approach. Soft voice, batting eyes, the works. Ophelia, we can get past this. We're still getting married in 4 months. This doesn't change anything. Me, you're right. It doesn't change anything. You showed me exactly who you are. I just showed you who I am. And we're not getting married. Ophelia, you can't be serious. Over one conversation? Over you fundamentally not respecting me or what I do. Take off the ring, Ophelia. That's when she lost it. Full meltdown. Screaming about the deposits we'd lose. How her parents already bought their plane tickets. How I was ruining her life over nothing. Me, I'll cover the deposits. Your parents can use the tickets for a vacation. And you ruined your own life when you decided I wasn't good enough for your new friends. Ophelia, I'm not giving the ring back. It's mine. Me, keep it. Consider it severance for 3 years of pretending to be someone you're not. She threw the ring at me anyway and stormed out. I heard her car peel out of the driveway. Sunday morning, I woke up to 27 missed calls from Ophelia, 12 from her mother Estelle, and about 50 texts ranging from, "I'm sorry" to, "You're a monster" to, "We can work this out." But the best part, Teresa called me directly. "Teresa, Lucian, I need you to know Ophelia won't be returning to our company." Me, that seems harsh. This is personal, not professional. Teresa, she's been name-dropping her connections at the club to clients, promising introductions she couldn't deliver. Now I know why she was using perceived social status. She didn't actually have to close deals. That's fraud in my book. Karma's funny like that. Monday morning, Ophelia's mom, Estelle Marsh, showed up at my work at the diesel shop in her white Mercedes, looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. "Estelle, we need to discuss the situation like adults." Me, I'm working. Estelle, Ophelia is devastated. She's had to move back home. Do you have any idea what you've done to her reputation? Me, what I've done? That's rich. Estelle, she made one tiny mistake. Me, she told me I was too embarrassing to meet her friends because she didn't know who I was. Any woman would want to show off a man with your assets. And there it was. The real issue, not that Ophelia had been cruel, but that she'd been cruel to someone with money. Me, so, it would have been fine if I was actually just a mechanic. Estelle, don't twist my words. Ophelia deserves a lifestyle befitting her ambitions. Me, then she should earn it herself. I'm not a lottery ticket. Estelle actually tried to negotiate like this was a business deal. Offered to have Ophelia sign a prenup. Promised she'd learn to appreciate me. Even suggested couples counseling. Me, Estelle, she's not getting back in. Please leave before I have you escorted out. She huffed but left. Then the real games began. Tuesday, I get a call from Sabine. "Sabine, you're not going to believe this. Ophelia tried to use her membership to book the grand ballroom." Me, for what, Sabine? Sabine, her wedding to you. She told the events coordinator you'd reconciled and wanted to move the venue here as a romantic gesture. Me, cancel it. Sabine, already done. But Lucian, I also had to revoke her membership. Me, why? Sabine, she charged $9,500 worth of champagne and food to the member account over the weekend, claiming it was for a Drake family event. When accounting called to verify, she said you'd authorized it. The audacity was breathtaking. She was literally trying to spend money she assumed I had. Wednesday brought a new player. Ophelia's ex-boyfriend, Quentin Rowe, reached out via LinkedIn of all places. "Quentin, bro, heard about you and Ophelia. Same thing happened to me 2 years ago. She found out my dad owned commercial real estate and suddenly wanted to get back together. When I said no, she tried to say she was pregnant. Watch yourself." That was concerning enough that I screenshot everything and sent it to my lawyer buddy just in case. Thursday was the peak. Ophelia showed up at the country club during the ladies' tennis tournament. Sabine called me immediately. "Sabine, security has her at the gate. She's telling everyone she's still your fiancé and demanding entry." Me, "Let me handle this." I drove over. Found Ophelia arguing with the security guard. Tears streaming down her face, making a scene in front of arriving members. "Ophelia, Lucian, thank God. Tell them who I am." Me, "I know exactly who you are. You're a former member who's no longer welcome on the property." Ophelia, "You can't do this. I have friends here." Me, "Then they can meet you somewhere else." Ophelia, "This is illegal. I paid my dues." Sabine had walked up behind me. "Sabine, actually, your membership was sponsored by Teresa Caldwell through her corporate account. Since you no longer work there and you've committed fraud against the club, your membership is terminated. You'll receive a full refund of your personal contribution, which was $0. The gathering crowd was whispering. Some were recording on their phones. Ophelia's carefully crafted image was crumbling in real time. Ophelia, getting desperate, "I'll sue. This is discrimination." Me, "On what grounds?" Ophelia, "Emotional distress. Breach of promise. You proposed to me." Me, "And you told me I was too embarrassing to be seen with. That offer was rescinded the moment you showed your true character." She tried one last manipulation. Ophelia, "I'm pregnant." The crowd gasped. I just laughed. Me, "No, you're not." Ophelia, "How would you know?" Me, "Because we haven't been intimate in 2 months. You've been too busy with your club activities. Plus, your ex-Quentin warned me you'd try this move." Her face went from fake tears to pure rage. Ophelia, "You're all witnessing this abuse. He's humiliating me publicly." That's when Alastair Horn stepped forward. "Alastair, ma'am, you're trespassing on private property. If you don't leave voluntarily, we'll have to call the police." That did it. She stormed off to her car, but not before screaming. "Ophelia, you'll regret this, Lucian. I'll make sure everyone knows what kind of man you really are." It's been about 3 weeks since that showdown at the country club, and honestly, the fallout was brutal for Ophelia, not me. Multiple people had their phones out that night, and one of those clips made it to TikTok with the caption, "Mechanic fiancé turns out to own the very club that tried to shut him out." Local viral hit. Last I checked, 2.5 million views. Ophelia tried to spin the story. She jumped on Instagram with a long post about being manipulated by a man living a double life. But nobody was buying it. The comments were savage. "Didn't you literally call him too embarrassing to meet your friends? So he's the villain because you're shallow? Girl, you fumbled the easiest win in history." Her social standing in our mid-sized city imploded overnight. Her mother, Estelle, even called me begging to put a stop to it. I told her the truth, I wasn't doing a thing. Ophelia was just reaping the harvest of her own choices. Work life? Even worse. Teresa, her ex-boss, quietly spread the word in their industry about Ophelia's creative ethics. Pharma sales doors slammed shut. Last I heard, Shed crawled into some wellness MLM, posting cheesy motivational reels about bouncing back stronger. You know, There are definitely people around you who have entered the network marketing industry. I don't think it's a very ethical industry. The ring situation was comedy in itself. She tried pawning it, only to find out it wasn't worth even close to what she thought. I ended up buying it back through a jeweler friend. Gorgeous ring, sure, but lab diamonds and white gold instead of platinum. I paid $3,000. She thought it was $30,000. Another illusion shattered. Now here's the twist. While her world burned down, mine actually got better. Sabine and I started reconnecting dinners once a week, conversations about Dad, about the club, about all the things we never bothered to say before. She pulled me into the family's new vocational program, not as an owner, but as an advisor. I get to help kids chasing trade scholarships, apprenticeships, a real future. Feels good to give back. And then there's Nora. I met her at the technical college, where I volunteer teaching diesel maintenance. She's a welding instructor. Zero interest in country clubs, total interest in engines and trucks. When I told her the whole story on our third date, she laughed so hard she nearly spilled her beer. Nora, wait, so she thought you weren't good enough for her circle, but you literally owned the roof over their heads? Me, a quarter of it. But yeah. Nora, that's the most satisfying karma I've ever heard. Please tell me it's on video. I showed her the TikTok. She watched it 3 times, wheezing with laughter. Nora, the part where she tries the pregnancy line and you just deadpan, "No, you're not." That killed me. I'm done. We've been seeing each other for 2 months now. She came to the club for Sabine's birthday dinner, jeans, a simple blouse, no airs. Talked to everyone like they were just people. By the end of the night, Alistair was drooling over her restored '78 Bronco. Alistair pulled me aside. "Alistair, this one's different, Lucian. She looks at you, not your bank account." And he's right. Nora doesn't care about inheritance or a membership card. She cares that I make her laugh, that I fixed her dad's tractor for free, that I spend weekends at the animal shelter. The actual me. Meanwhile, Ophelia tried one last Hail Mary. Sent me an email claiming she'd grown from the experience, that she deserved another shot, that she'd been in therapy, doubtful, and that she really loved me for me, not my money, laughable. She ended it with, "I'm willing to forgive you for your deception if you'll forgive my mistakes." The entitlement never dies, does it? She was willing to forgive me. I didn't reply. I just forwarded it to Sabine, who laughed until she cried. Sabine, the lion, the witch, and the audacity of this. Looking back, I see it clearly. Ophelia did me a favor. Had she not shown her true colors, I might have married someone who always saw me as beneath her. That isn't love. That's a contract. Now I'm with someone who'd be with me even if all I had was my truck, my tools, and a paycheck-to-paycheck life. Because at the end of the day, that's who I really am, a man who likes fixing engines, restoring old cars, and fishing on Sundays. The inheritance? Just numbers I rarely touch. The club? Still mostly Sabine's world. But when I do show up, in jeans and boots, the members greet me with respect. Not because of Dad's name, but because they watched what happens when someone doesn't. Ophelia, though she's still online, still posting about her journey and healing. Still playing victim. But everyone knows. She bet on the wrong hand and lost everything. As Nora likes to say, karma doesn't always come fast, but when it lands. Oh, it lands hard. Couldn't agree more. So if you're hearing my voice right now and you've been written off, underestimated, or left carrying the weight alone, I want you to know this: there is a core inside you that nobody can take away. It's still there, waiting for you. Dig for it. Protect it. Build on it. Let it lead you somewhere better than where you started. Thank you for staying with me through this story. If these words resonated with you, if they woke something up inside you or made you look at your own path differently, I have just 3 small requests. Like the video so others who need it can find it. Leave a comment, share your own story, or simply tell me which part hit you the hardest. Subscribe because more real stories are coming, and you won't want to miss what's next. This isn't the end of my journey. It's the beginning of something far stronger. And I'm grateful you're here to walk it with me.